I'm deeply humbled by the hope and trust you have placed in me today.
It's been 100 days since Sadiq Khan took office as the Mayor of London. In that time, he's had to deal with Brexit, a new Prime Minister, a crisis within the Labour Party, and has even faced the wrath of Donald Trump. To mark this whirlwind 100 days in charge, the Evening Standard decided to find out how it's all been going, from those who work for the Mayor and the man himself.
One of the things I've done as the Mayor is speak to other mayors of other great cities around the world. And all of them have impressed upon me that actually when you're the Mayor, it's more of a marathon rather than a sprint. But we've managed to achieve a lot in the first 100 days. I mean, the key thing for me was to make Londoners have confidence that mayors can do stuff. It's not simply a question of acting like a buffoon and trying to be funny and witty, but actually it's about doing stuff that will improve the quality of your life. So from housing, just looking at some of the legacies, not great. The housing challenge is massive. I mean, when you look at the pipeline in relation to the numbers of homes given permission, it's quite frankly scary. So the way it works is this. Last year, 4,000 homes were built that were affordable. But you look forward in relation to what's in the pipelines, from permission being given to something being built, roughly speaking, 2 years. And the bad news is last year only 13% of homes were given permission that were affordable. That should worry all of us, because actually it's not simply porters, cleaners, nurses, bus drivers who can't afford to live in London, as problematic as that is. It's also junior doctors, chief executives, startups who can't afford to live in London. So big challenge. That's why Homes for Londoners is so important.
You know, I really feel Sadiq's hit the ground rolling. Some great staff across the GLA and the GLA family, Transport for London, the police, the fire brigade, the planning people were really willing to work with the Mayor to make things better for London. And, you know, given the crisis we've had around Brexit, I think we couldn't have had a better approach from our Mayor, really, because he's been very outward looking. He's, you know, promoted the London is open agenda.
Khan's first big challenge was probably the UK voting to leave the EU. London voted to remain, and in the aftermath of the result, people began calling for more devolution of powers to London, and even London's independence from the rest of the country.
London was the only region in England to vote to remain in the EU, and we voted decisively so. In some boroughs in London, up to 78% of people voted to remain in the European Union. The reality is, I'm afraid, is the rest of the country voted to leave the European Union. The key job I have is to make sure, as a consequence of that vote, jobs, trade, investment doesn't leave London. One of the reasons I began the campaign, London is Open, is to remind people around the country, around Europe and around the world that we're going to carry on being open for talent, open to business, open to trade. It's a state of mind, as well as how we as a city have flourished over the last 1,000 years.
Of course, there is concerns among the business community, amongst the investor base generally, post-Brexit, because there's quite a bit of uncertainty how things will shape from here. But at the same time, they have some sort of an underlying confidence because the fundamentals of the economy are very, very solid. And they are working very closely with City Hall. We all seem to work together very, very well and hope to get the best deal for London.
The question is, how does the Mayor plan to get the best deal for London?
If London does well, the country does well. If London does badly, the country does badly. So two things. One, make sure we have a seat around the table so you understand what issues we need in relation to the renegotiation. But two, London needs more say over how our city is run. I'm not saying give London a bigger slice of the cake. What I'm saying is give us more control over how the cake is eaten, if you like. We'll make the whole cake bigger. That's why it's so important to give London more say over our city. So I'm saying to the government, give London more power over how our city is run.
Negotiations with the government took something of an unlikely turn when Theresa May suddenly found herself in power, the new unelected and eventually unopposed Prime Minister. How did the Mayor react to this, and how does he feel about Prime Minister May?
I've been really impressed by the willingness of the Prime Minister and her government to talk to me. It's really important that when it's in London's interest to do so, I work with a government in those cases to do so. Obviously, there'll be times where I disagree with the government, but at the moment, what's clear to me is that the government recognises that if the country is going to flourish and thrive, they need to take London's interests at heart. I think it's great. We've got our second ever woman Prime Minister. I say this as a father of two daughters, and I think it sends a really important message that if you're a young girl, you can have the most important and powerful job in the country. I've been meeting with her shortly to discuss what I think are important issues for London, but I wish her well. I think, as far as she's concerned, it was also probably very quick for her. She probably expected to spend the summer campaigning, whereas now she's spending a week or so in Switzerland enjoying well-earned rest, I suspect.
It seems Khan has been working hard for Londoners, as one might hope. But what is he like to work with? We spoke to his Deputy Mayor for Transport, Valerie Shawcross, and Deputy Mayor for Business, Rajesh Agrawal, to get the lowdown on Sadiq, the manager.
You want the truth about Sadiq? He's got a huge sense of public service and duty. He's incredibly rational. He wants to know the facts. He wants to know the detail.
If I need to speak to Sadiq at any point, I can just basically walk through the door and talk to him, which is a great thing because, what you expect from your boss is accessibility. So you should never have to go through different hoops to actually speak to your boss. And Sadiq is fully accessible. And also he gives a lot of free hand as for you to sort of do your own work. And I think that's another big attribute in a good boss.
You just know his heart's in the right place and he wants to do the right thing for everybody around him and for London.
100 days is too short a time to truly judge the effectiveness of Sadiq Khan as mayor. It is undoubtedly a difficult task, and he has not been without fair criticism. But what does the mayor enjoy most about his job?
The best part of London is when I get out to visit London. So when I go to visits, whether it's housing estates, whether it's roundabouts that are problematic, whether it's visiting schools, that's the best part of the job, meeting other Londoners. And the great thing about London is we're an optimistic city. People have got ideas, people are fizzing with ways to address some of the challenges we face, but also have aspirations as well. And we've got plans to make sure we address some of the big issues facing our city. So 100 days, a lot done, a lot more to do over the next 4 years.
I promise to always be a mayor for all Londoners, to work hard to make life better for every Londoner, regardless of your background, and to do everything in my power to ensure you get the opportunities that our incredible city gave to me. Thank you very much.